Hello guys, this is Hyman, and in this video I'm going to show you how to run a PHP file on localhost port 8000. So the purpose of this video is to show you how you can easily run your PHP file or your PHP project from the localhost port 8000. So first of all, I'm sure you can see I have a folder open. For the sake of this video, I created a folder for the sake of the video, and in the folder, that's where I'm going to create a file, a PHP file, where I'm going to test run the file, and I'm going to run it on the localhost port 8000. So first of all, what I want us to do is to make sure we have our server running. We have our server running. So you're going to start the Apache and you start the MySQL. You make sure you start both, and then I'm sure we can see says status change detected, Apache status change detected running, attempting to start Apache, attempting to start MySQL app. So status change detected running for the MySQL too. So we have both running. So the next thing we're going to do now is to open our folder in the command prompt. Open the folder in the command prompt. I'm sure we can see it says in desktop, and then the desktop has a folder called YouTube, and in the folder that's we're going to create our PHP project. So if you have any folder, just go directly into the folder and run. So what we're going to do, we're going to open our default code editor. So what we're going to say is code, and we'll say a dot, and we'll click on enter. Then this should automatically redirect us to our default code editor. To our default code editor. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to create I'm sure we can see it's open now. Our folder YouTube is opened on VS Code now. So what we're going to do now is to create a file. So if you have any project in mind that you want to create and you want to run on the localhost for 8000, this is how you can easily do it. So what you're going to do right now is to type in index, and make sure it is index. I'm going to show you later in the video why it is index, why it has to be indexed. Why it has to be indexed, I'm going to show you. Then the file extension PHP, and then we'll click on enter. And now, yeah, we have the file opened. Now we have the file opened. So what we're going to do right now is to write any PHP, anything we want to run, anything we want to run on the local host, any projects we're intending to run on the local host. So what we're going to do right now is to start with the PHP tags. We start with the PHP tags, and then we'll say, and then I'm going to create a simple PHP project here in the index.php file. I'm going to create a simple project, for the purpose of the video, so we can test run it on the localhost port 8000. So what we're going to do right now, let's just create a variable. Let's create a variable. We give the variable a value, and then we'll echo the variable out. So what we're going to do right now is to say, let's create a variable called name, and we say equals to, then we'll give it a textual data of Iman underscore tech, and then we'll end with a semicolon, and then we create and then let's create another variable. Let's name it server. To make it more explicit and make it more interactive, let's create another variable called server, and this we're going to give it a value of localhost 8000, localhost, let's say port 8000. Good. So now we're going to end it with the semicolon. So what we're going to do right now we have the variable and we have the variable name. So what we're going to do right now is to echo it out, and we'll echo everything out as a sentence. So let's create a sentence out of the variable name and the variable name and the variable name server. So let's say echo, and then we say let's open a double quote. Let's end it. So now inside the double quote, we're going to say hello, and then we're going to say hello, then we concatenate it, to add the variable name. Then we'll say name. So, and then we'll give it a dot, and then we'll give it a dot. Then we'll say it should be like this, and then we say name. I will say a double quote also is going to be hello, then the variable name, and then we'll say you are welcome to to you're welcome to, and then we'll say dot, and then we're going to say dollar the server. So it's going to echo the server. So now let's try to run it. Now here's the deal. Now we open our terminal. You open a new terminal. You make sure you open a new terminal, and then I already have git and git bash installed. Everything is installed. So now, as you can see, it went to the directory, and then you opened the folder called YouTube. And now what we're going to do is to type in php hyphen uppercase s, and we say localhost, and we say 8,000. Yeah, good. So now let's click on enter. Then now we see that it has started the development server. As you can see, I have the PHP 8.2.12 version installed, and it has opened the development server on the localhost port 8,000 that we implemented here. So what we're going to do is to just open the localhost. So what we're going to do is, let me open from my browser. You can easily just follow the link. Actually, if you follow the link, it's going to go redirect you to your default browser, but I'm not running this with my default browser, so I'll just copy the link and I'll paste it in my browser, and then I'll open. I'm sure you can see it says, hello, I'm Mantech, you are welcome to localhost port 8,000. I'm sure we can see, but there are some issues there. There should be a space in here, and there should be a space in here to make everything more explicit. There should be a space in here. So yeah, to make it more interactive. And then let's refresh. I'm sure we can see it says, hello, I'm Mantech, you are welcome to localhost port 8,000. I'm sure we can see. So this is how we can easily run our PHP file or our PHP project from the localhost port 8,000. So I told you I was going to tell you something. So let's say our main file is not named as index. Let's say our main file is named as localhost. This is why I said it must be index. It must be indexed before it can run on the localhost port 8,000. Now let's refresh it. Now I'm sure you can see it says the request resource / was not found on this server. So what before you can run your file or your project on the localhost, it must contain the main file. It must contain the main file. It must contain the home file, and the home file is always named as index. So if you don't have an index file in your project, then you cannot run on the localhost port 8,000. So now let's go back to it after we've renamed it back to our index. I'm sure we can see it says, hello, I'm Mantech, you're welcome to localhost port 8,000. I'm sure we can see. So yeah, that is all in this video. Thank you for watching. This is Mantech.